Welcome to the Political Matrix News. Politics, people, local, regional, national news. Political Matrix News keeps you informed. We have the sources, we have the truth from inside the Political Matrix.
Hello, this is Greg Fink here with the Political Matrix News and my wonderful partner here, Scott Miller, holding down the fort down there in Pensacola, Florida. And tonight it's just going to be just the two of us. We have scared everybody else off for the night, and we're having a good little time here. I think Rob is on vacation, much needed vacation, and everybody else is doing their own springtime cleaning of sorts. And so it's just me and Scott tonight. So, Scott, I think the big issue today is abortion. Again, in a different state, though, not Florida, Arizona now. They have doubled down on their old abortion law from 159 years ago, really making it legal in almost every single fashion. What do you think?
Well, I mean, do I necessarily agree with it? I'm a little more, if supporting the life of the mother, and
Right.
And rape and incest exceptions makes me a liberal. Well, okay, but it is a little saddening that people make such a big deal out of any small deviation from the most extreme position. But people got their opinions, and I have my opinions. So if they want to be that extreme, vaya con Dios, my friend, because it's it is what it is. I don't think that that there's enough support in the United States, for the entire United States, for that draconian of a ban. I mean, it may come into effect for a little while, but I don't think it'll stay for a long time.
Now, does Arizona have a ballot laws where they can do ballot initiatives like Florida and California does?
I really don't know.
But yeah, it'd be a good thing to investigate.
Well,
because if they did, I wonder if the people would go for that.
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's hard to say because these guys, they get the campaigns ramp these things up and ramp up people's opinions so hard that it's that even good laws can be twisted to a point where that they get codified into a constitution, and then it's Katie bar the door. I personally have never been a fan of any law that should be a law going into a constitution. What you should do is let your constitution be lean and mean and nothing but the fundamental rights that you need. Throwing things like abortion and other large prohibitions in there kind of is problematic for me, because you never understand the law of unintended consequences. And if you write, even supporting the law can have unintended consequences, just like in Alabama. We literally just found out in Alabama where they had to retool a law that they just passed. Thank God it was just a statute and not a constitutional amendment, because all of a sudden it completely outlawed in vitro fertilization, or essentially did.
For me, the whatever's controlling the minds of the jurors in Arizona, for the Supreme Court to be making this type of decision, obviously they're assuming that some sort of political recourse is going to happen, like either a statewide election or it's going to be a very big political football of some sorts. I don't see any way that these jurors made this decision without any concept of what's going to happen outside of that. It's just
I don't. The jurists, they didn't. This is how judges are. It's the Supreme Court, Alabama Supreme Court, that came up with this concept, and to defend them, the people who wrote the law were kind of lawyers, but the people who interpret the law, the judges, they are lawyers, and they do this all the time. So in some ways, they're kind of bound by what their previous laws have been that impact this particular statute. So they have to follow the Constitution and the way the statute is written, and then they interpreted what was written. So like I said, it's a good thing that this wasn't a constitutional amendment, because we'd be paying a high price trying to figure out now how to roll it back when the law of unintended consequences strikes.
Yeah, because if you look at all the abortion laws here recently, and we look at Alabama here just a few weeks ago, and the Arizona Supreme Court today, and the Florida, the Supreme Court putting the whole idea of abortion on the ballot here for the next election cycle, because we have a 6-week ban. And so it seems like, whether we like it or not, abortion is going to become a very major issue for this political cycle. I think with the intended idea of jumping out support for the Democrat Party, and I think that's one big reason why a lot of them are getting it out there, as well as for the Republican Party. I think they're trying to find something to motivate voters to turn out besides 2 80-year-old guys, because I don't think the top of the ticket ballot, with a lot of it being unknown still. I mean, we even have, we're going to talk about this later, about Joe Rogan saying that, he has no idea if, Biden's still going to be at the top of the ticket by this time. And so we don't really know what's going to be the driving force in November, but we do know the future, the life of a fetus or life of a baby and everything else, or the abortion or the death of the baby and everything, depending on which stance you look at it, is going to be on the top of the ticket in a lot of different states. And so I think that's going to be it's going to be very interesting to see how everybody handles it this year, and how the media handles it, and how it's going to be swaying, and see if Congress is going to take any type of federal stand on it or not. And or is the Supreme Court actually weighs in here? I mean, Trump. What did Trump say? Yeah.
Well, I mean, Trump. I really kind of agree with Trump, and I have from the beginning, even before the Supreme Court struck down Roe v. Wade, because what Trump's position is that the states need to decide amongst themselves what the law is, and I agree with that, because my real heartburn about Roe v. Wade for the longest time, aside from I am pro-life, but my heartburn has always been that it's not the federal government's job to regulate that to begin with. So
let's go ahead and listen to what Trump said real quick.
Under my leadership, the Republican Party will always support the creation of strong, thriving, and healthy American families. We want to make it easier for mothers and families to have babies, not harder. That includes supporting the availability of fertility treatments like IVF in every state in America. Like the overwhelming majority of Americans, including the vast majority of Republicans, conservatives, Christians, and pro-life Americans, I strongly support the availability of IVF for couples who are trying to have a precious baby. What could be more beautiful or better than that? Today, I'm pleased that the Alabama legislature has acted very quickly and passed legislation that preserves the availability of IVF in Alabama. They really did a great and fast job. The Republican Party should always be on the side of the miracle of life and the side of mothers, father, their beautiful babies, and that's what we are. IVF is an important part of that, and our great Republican Party will always be with you in your quest for the ultimate joy in life. Many people have asked me what my position is on abortion and abortion rights, especially since I was proudly the person responsible for the ending of something that all legal scholars, both sides, wanted and, in fact, demanded be ended. Roe v. Wade. They wanted it ended. It must be remembered that the Democrats are the radical ones on this position because they support abortion up to and even beyond the 9th month. The concept of having an abortion in the later months and even execution after birth, and that's exactly what it is. The baby is born, the baby is executed after birth, is unacceptable, and almost everyone agrees with that. My view is now that we have abortion where everybody wanted it from a legal standpoint, the states will determine by vote or legislation or perhaps both, and whatever they decide must be the law of the land, in this case, the law of the state. Many states will be different. Many will have a different number of weeks, or some will have more conservative than others, and that's what they will be. At the end of the day, this is all about the will of the people. You must follow your heart or, in many cases, your religion or your faith. Do what's right for your family and do what's right for yourself. Do what's right for your children. Do what's right for our country and vote. So important to vote. At the end of the day, it's all about will of the people. That's where we are right now, and that's what we want, the will of the people. I want to thank the 6 justices, Chief Justice John Roberts, Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, Brett Kavanaugh, Amy Coney Barrett, and Neil Gorsuch, incredible people, for having the courage to allow this long-term, hard-fought battle to finally end. This 50-year battle over Roe v. Wade took it out of the federal hands and brought it into the hearts, minds, and vote of the people in each state. It was really something. Now it's up to the states to do the right thing. Like Ronald Reagan, I am strongly in favor of exceptions for rape, incest, and life of the mother. You must follow your heart on this issue, but remember, you must also win elections to restore our culture and, in fact, to save our country, which is currently, and very sadly, a nation in decline. Our nation needs help. It needs unity. It needs us all to work closely together. Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, everyone, we have to work together. We have to bring our nation back from the brink, and that's where it is. It's at the brink, and we will. We will do it. I promise you, we will do it. Always go by your heart, but we must win. We have to win. We are a failing nation, but we can be a failing nation no longer. We will make our nation great. We will make our nation greater than ever before. Thank you very
much. Okay, go ahead.
So again, like I said, it's more a function of what do we do, when you start dismantling the Constitution. Is this a issue that is so important that dismantling the Constitution is worth it? And I don't think that it is. Liberals do. But now, my fundamental position on all this stuff has always been that it's all just, fundraising scams gone crazy. And there's so much inertia on both the pro-life and the pro-choice side that right now the pro-life side is in most places the one that's driving the conversation. And so what we're seeing now are reactions, like overreactions in a lot of cases to reinstitute Roe v. Wade in some way. And I think at some point we're going to wind up with something in the middle like we normally do. Is it going to be an outright ban nationwide? Probably in spots, but the entire nation? No, I seriously doubt that.
No, I think the entire nation is pretty much, pro-choice and pro-life both. I mean, nobody wants to hurt the mother. Nobody, and the majority of the people do want exceptions for rape and incest. And most people, 99%, 98% of them want exceptions if it's going to kill the mother as well, when it really comes down to it. That being said, we're only really arguing here over like the 20 or 24 weeks here.
Florida's arguing over 6 weeks.
Yeah, Florida's arguing over 6 weeks because that's what the legislators did, because the governor wanted them to do that for fundraising reasons. Like you said earlier, it's a very wonderful fundraising tool. But that being said, the majority of the country is very equal on this issue, and I don't think everybody is so vitriolically pro-choice or vitriolically pro-life to the extremes as the media and the fundraisers want them to be. And so I think it's going to be a very interesting issue to see if it's going to be the political football they're wanting it to be to drive the voters out, which I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it will.
But I do agree with you.
We're going to find out.
This is a blatant attempt to override the top of the ticket, to make a genuinely unappealing top of the ticket. I'm in favor of Trump and I hate Biden, but the other side is just as well. But we want it with so much mud and so many destroyed, commingled feelings that there's. I think that what we're running towards right now, as fast as we can, is a record low turnout, and I think that's the reason that you're starting to find highly controversial issues like this on the ballot, so they can do something to drive turnout.
And I think one big factor in seeing that is kind of have economic indicators. One political indicator of that is people leaving both parties.
Yeah.
People are leaving and becoming. The MPA party is growing in rapid manner. I mean, it's 26 to 27% of the country right now is MPA or independent. And that being said, people are leaving the Republican Party and the Democrat Party, both, which means their machine is weakening. The machine is losing oil, it's losing gas. And I mean, they don't have the mojo that they had before, nor do they have the confidence that's going to be there financially or grassroots wise as well. And so they got to drum it up, and this is their way of drumming it up. And I'll be surprised if a gay marriage ban doesn't come up again during the next 6 or 7 months, or it's some other ban like Disney World ban. I mean, just ban something.
I'm with you that they would that they will try to do something. I mean, it'll be something. I think the most probable candidate issue to me, I think, is going to be a criminal ban on trans athletes participating in other gendered sports, or women's sports, because if some of the women want to step up and participate in men's sports, I'm sure that
no problem.
Hey, if you can do it, do it. But it's the women that need protecting. I mean, it is a simple fact of life. Women, as a group, musculoskeletal speaking, are not as well developed as men. And they can seriously be hurt, and they're definitely hurt. Whether or not they can be physically hurt, people can debate, but the fact of the matter is, there's no debating. You're denying their opportunity.
Right, that's definitely a fact, and the fact that people are allowing it to continually happen, and not having repercussions or any answer for it, is a little bit troubling. Because I mean, both genders work their butts off to get to the top of their sport. I mean, the NCAA Final Four for women, for men, I mean, they're both worked their hearts out. And they did not work their hearts out for the other gender to pop in. I mean, that's not how it works.
We didn't have 40 years of Title IX just to toss it all away for 1% of the population.
No, we don't. Well, thank you guys real quick. We're going to be right back. And I think this was a great segment here. And we're going to be back and talk about what some other podcasters are talking about in the news, as well as we have some people who are willing to jump ship and their other crazy terrorist parties and come over to the normal side. And so we're going to be right back with another episode of the Political Matrix blog.